obviously Stephen, there was no action taken. What's your reaction to that in terms of the tackle on the weekend?
Yeah, there's been a lot of issues around this type of tackle, and it's become very fashionable to talk around it. But I've looked at the game back, and I certainly don't think it was intentional. I think there was a lot of momentum involved in the tackle, but I also believe that there were equally dangerous tackles made. Not that type of tackle, but tackles, shoulder charges, high tackles. So there's a lot of other things going on in the game which are equally potentially as dangerous, but they're not in vogue at the moment. So I think we need to be careful, and I think common sense has been done.
Because from your point of view, obviously some of Stephen's calibre, he's needed for that big Heineken Cup game in terms of what he brings.
Yeah, he's got a huge amount of experience. He's the second highest point scorer in the competition, which is a fantastic achievement. So that experience counts for a lot at this level of rugby.
The Ospreys think he should have been outsighted. And in fairness to them, they said, to qualify it, they said, did they want to see him cited? No. Should he have been? Yes.
That's their view, we accept that. But as I say, I think there were equally dangerous tackles happening elsewhere on the field. When I looked at the video, they were equally citable under the law.
Reece had his fitness test,
Reece trained with us this week. He looks good. He looks good to go. We'll be selecting our team or finalise the selection on Thursday.
Can I just going back to it just for one thing? Do you think it needs to be cleared up though? Because clearly, what happened with Sam Walton and what happened to Stephen Jones is very similar in terms of the instance. No malice, no intention, but the penalty was different in both cases. Do you think there just needs to be clarity there?
I think there needs to be clarity in lots of areas of the game at the moment. As I've said, after the game, we have laws, we have interpretations of laws, we have directives which come out on top of those, and then we have referees from different countries who referee us, and we have coaches who coach in a certain way. And between all of that, something gets lost in the interpretation of the game in quite a few areas. Contact area being one, scrum being another, and this is a topical issue right now as well. And yes, clarity would help everybody, I think, in those areas.
If Reece is fit, Nigel, from an outside point of view, it would be easy to assume that he might get picked at 10 ahead of Steve now, but I guess it's not necessarily that straightforward.
Well, Steve's second week with us. Yeah. Reece has only started training this week. And as I've said all along, we will select on form and who's best at any particular time. And it's great to have the option of having both these guys involved on the weekend.
You count yourself pretty lucky from that point of view, I guess.
Yes, well, I don't think it's luck, but yeah, we're very fortunate.
Yeah. I mean, would you consider Stephen in any other positions? Or?
No.
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 No. Whereas Reece, obviously.
We may or we may not. I think Reece he proved to us last year that 10 is his primary position. He filled a hole for us last year at fullback, and he did very well. And if he had to, he could go there, but it's not where I see him.
You see him playing in tennis.
Yeah, as we did last year. It's just that the circumstances were such last year that that he did fill a space for us there, and he did it particularly well as well, which probably didn't help him in one way. But for the vast majority of his rugby last year, he played a 10 for us, and that's where we evolved him, that's where we developed him, and that's where we gave him his opportunity, and that's where he came through for us ultimately.
Is circumstances better than Nigel obviously start that out about covering fullback?
Yeah, well, Dan Evans has been playing well.
Yeah.
Liam as well has done very well. He's impressed us hugely since coming into our squad at the start of the year. So he gives us options there as well.
Are you pleased with the way the attack has been going?
We played in fits and starts. I think we've had to play the conditions and the opponents. Every time we played here, it's rained, which hasn't helped.
Yeah.
But over the last 5 games, we have gained some momentum. We've had a few bonus point wins. People have said that they were disappointed with the quality of the game on the weekend. I don't subscribe to that, because a lot of the work that we put in going into that match was around the contact area. It was the work that we were doing defensively, some of our set piece work, and in terms of identifying areas to improve in and coaching those and seeing those being delivered on the field, it was excellent, and you know, those are the areas of the game that maybe in the past we haven't paid enough attention to. If we can marry the ability to deal with those black arts as we can with the style of rugby that we know we can play, you know, that's our challenge really.
Are those the lessons you're learning from places like Welford Road and Perpignan last year when obviously suffered pretty heavy?
Yeah, they are, you know, and the Ospreys equally, you know, it's a very difficult place to go to Liberty. They win a lot of their games off the back of what they do without the ball, and they pressurise you. What we didn't allow them to do was to pressurise us too much. I thought we played in the right area. Some people would say we maybe kicked a little bit too much. But it was about building a performance, and ultimately, I think we probably crossed the line psychologically with the Ospreys on the weekend in terms of the last 3 years we've been out-muscled by them. This year we were pretty focused on making sure that wasn't the case, and I was very pleased with the way we dealt with that side of the game. And it's, as I say, it's probably an area of the game that we haven't been particularly clever at, but it has a huge bearing on the outcome so much as.
Being born in Europe as well, isn't it? On a harder edge up front there.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
What have you made of Castres? Because they had a great start to the championship and just faltered recently last few weeks.
Yeah, they're an interesting team, very big and physical as most French sides are. But they've lost their last two, and I think the last four that they won before that, they've actually won without scoring a try. So,
yeah, there's like 30 pointers, isn't there? 30, 28.
Very difficult side to play against. They've got some very good players in the team, and they're very physical. That's the one thing that, you know, when we look at lots of video footage of them, doesn't necessarily come across, but they do impact the game through their physicality. So it's a big challenge for us. You know, it is a big challenge for us. But I'm more focused on our team and where we're going, and I'm really excited about the quality that we've now got in the squad and the depth of the quality, and the fact that really over the last 4 to 5 weeks we've focused very much on the contact area and our set piece to give us the platform to be able to play with the potential that we have behind the scrum.
Rhys Thomas seems to be going very well there at tight head. Obviously, you mentioned the pressure Castres would bring.
Yeah.
How much pressure is on Rhys now, and how much is he developing his game?
Yeah, Rhys has done very well, and I think it's basically off the back of remaining reasonably injury-free for Rhys, and just being able to put some performances in. He still struggles, you know, we still have to manage him particularly well during the week because he can't train fully, but Rhys is a game animal, and he comes alive in the games, and he's doing very well. We still need to work on aspects of his game, and he's scrummaging quite well at the moment, but again, it's a big work on for him, and he knows that. And, you know, Gardin at the moment is working well with him there, as he is with the rest of the forwards, and brought a real focus to that area.
Gary now, he's taking off on McBride, is he?
He's here till December. You know, he's on a short-term contract, and we'll review things at that stage.
When you say Rhys still struggles to do some things in the week, what is he? What's the injury and what is he?
You've got a number of issues, you know, and like a lot of our players have. You know, our senior players, we manage them differently to the younger players. Their training age is a lot older. They don't need the amount of input, and they need managing. And you know, Stephen Jones would be another that we manage.
So I suppose, as it's been for a number of years now, to tight head, there is an opportunity then in Wales, isn't there?
Well, there is, yes. You know, definitely. It's an area where there's not a huge amount of quality. And Rhys has shown up particularly well. He's always been a superb player around the field, and his set pieces work is great at the moment as well. But I think you can't underestimate the value of, particularly in the scrum, of the hooker, you know, how much of an effect that has on things, and then the rest of the pack as well. So it's as much as a lot of pressure comes through the tight head, it's about how the eight manage it, that can sometimes help as well. So believe it or not, there is a bit of technicality around the scrum.
You've got a particularly tricky pool, Nigel, but there aren't many easy pools, are there now? Is it as hard as it's ever been in your experience to get to the quarterfinals of the high?
It's an extremely tough competition, you know, when you look at it. But that's the beauty of it, you know, that's the challenge. That's why we want to be in it, to compete against the best. And we've had a tough 3 or 4 years to get to where we are, and right now we're in a strong position. We have to take the initiative and move that forward, and that's not going to be easy, particularly in the pool that we're in. and there's a lot of challenges that we face over the next 3 months really, because there's some huge games coming ahead. But as we approached the Ospreys game, which was a test in itself going into this period, there were 2 teams training on the Thursday before up on the training field with us. I felt both teams could have taken the field for us. So we've not had that over the last 4 years. And we've built a certain amount of strength and depth right now.
It was a long-term rebuilding process. In fact, you feel your academy's done the business and that you're in a position to bear.
There were a number of factors. I think that we obviously had to react to the financial situation, but part of that was to invest and develop from within, and that's partly academy. It's not all academy. Some of it is going out and identifying players who may be off the radar, outside of our region or even in our region, and working with them and developing them. And Ben Morgan is an example of that. A good example, Andy Fenby. We've got Adam Warren now. We've got Liam, who's come through for us now. Kieran Murphy, who's another one who's starting to start for us. So it's not only the academy. There are players out there who have maybe come under the radar a little bit, but we've seen them as having qualities, and in the right environment they flourish.
One of those assets, Nigel George, out there has played amazingly at Heineken Cup match favourite. How exciting is that prospect this weekend, considering the impact he made at the end of last weekend?
Yeah, George is just he's a one-in-a-generation player. He's a fantastic player. Just to have him in the training environment gives everybody a lift because of his ability. You can just see it. He oozes quality and class. But then again, we've got a lot of quality and class around him as well. With John Davies, Scott Williams, Sean Lamont, Stephen Jones, Priestland. That's a backline that you die for, really. It's as good as it gets.
He's a real star of the game now. I noticed he came off the bus on Saturday. All the kids went straight to him, wanting his autographs, taking photos and stuff. He counts after the World Cup now as a real player.
Absolutely, he's huge for us. He'll be a big part of what we are over the next 3 years, because one thing we did do, and the focus last year, was to sign our core players, and Reece Priestland and George were 2 of those, and that was good management in my view. He's still young, he's only just turned 19, and he's out on the park there. He doesn't realise how good he is himself, I don't think. He's laughing and joking, he's full of enthusiasm, it's just great to see, and it's amazing really, because I say he is so very young.
Do you have to kind of sometimes remind yourself that he is that young, considering what he's already achieved, on the world stage?
Yeah, well, I think as well he's very humble, he embodies a lot of our values without him really knowing it. Sometimes, when you've got players who make the line out so quickly, it can be difficult. But with George, he's so grounded, so professional, wants to do better than he did in his last game and his last training session, works as hard as anybody, yet has the natural ability.
You're confident, Nigel, then in the Heineken this season of sort of going up another level, if you like, making progress with it?
I don't like that word confidence because I don't know what it means sometimes, but in terms of being positive about the group that I've got, knowing that we're in a better shape than we've been for some time, and understanding the ability that they've got, and also knowing that we've worked on some crucial areas that we've got wrong in the past. I'm comfortable that we've done that, and I think we're in better shape now than we have been for the last 4 years that I've been here.